Dr. Audra. I'm a board certified psychiatrist and lifestyle medicine physician. And today I wanted to talk about failure. It is something that nobody is looking forward to, but something that happens to all of us. And how do we get back up, get back on track? Well, I have a few tips and things for you to think about. When you fail, the first thing that you want to do is just acknowledge it and feel sorry for yourself. Now, when I say feel sorry for yourself, I mean that in a way that I want you to properly grieve that something was important to you that you didn't get, that you lost, that you didn't achieve. It is okay. Grieving is very important. It's a process. It looks different for all people, but it's important because it acknowledges something that was important in our life. And it gives us a way to conclude how we're feeling about that. So talk to your friends, talk to your family. For some people, they do a little bit of things when they're grieving. They might, feed into retail therapy. Sometimes when I'm not feeling great or haven't accomplished something, I might say, you know what? I'm still going to treat myself. I'm going to give me a little bit of a pick-me-up. Something very nice, simple, superficial, that's fine. It is important to not try to blow past that, to minimize what was important for you. I have experienced failure many, many times in many different ways, whether it's academic failure, whether it's a physical fitness failure, whether it is something else completely. When people check in and you say, oh, I feel bad, I feel like a failure, it might throw people off. But again, it is important to acknowledge that. It's important to be honest and to say how you feel so that other people can mobilize around you and provide support around that time. Just like if you were to lose someone, you let people know so they can try to help lift your spirits. Don't suffer alone. The second thing I will say, you have to take a step back and say, why? Reflect and see what went wrong. Was it something in your control or was it out of your control? Maybe it's a mixture of both, but it's important to see if there's anything that you can do to try to prevent the bad outcome that you might have had. So let's take fitness again, for example. Say you wanted to run a race, you signed up for your 5K, and then it gets to the race day and you find, you know what? I just didn't finish that 5K like I thought I would. I had to stop midway during the race. Well, was it because you were dehydrated? It was a very hot day. You can't control the weather, but could you have controlled how much fluid you took in? Did you train properly enough? Did you do, and sometimes again, there are life circumstances that interfere with our preparation for something. But again, it's important to reflect and think about that. So when we try to maybe strive for our goals again, we know what we need to fix. So another thing I will say for students when it comes to grades, did you study enough? Be honest with yourself. Were you on social media just a little bit too long? Or did you hang out with your friends, 2 nights before, when really those 2 nights before you should have been studying? Really, really be honest with yourself. Yes, the material was hard, but did you put your best effort into studying it? When you realize, I'm not really getting it, did you ask for extra clarification? Did you ask for help? So again, look at what you did. If you are trying to eat more healthy and then you find, you know what? I was doing well. I ate healthy. Now my levels of my cholesterol and my blood sugar are in check. And then 6 months down the line, you go to the doctor and they're out of whack again. Is it because you got a little bit too lax with the changes that were very instrumental in helping you reach your goal initially? Did you start to eat sweets a little bit more? And if you did, I have a video to help you curb your cravings for sweets. But did you also start to exercise less? Did you start to drink more drinks that have lots of sugar, like drink more soda or have more lattes? All of those things. But think about what you did. so that, again, when you go to try and reach your new goals, you can recognize habits in yourself that you can change or specific things that you can do better in trying to achieve that same goal. Before you go and you start trying to do something again, take a breather. Just rest. You've grieved, you've reflected. Give yourself some time to just relax, be in a state of a pause where you can just be present in that moment. It is important because sometimes what can happen, we try to do something. Say you try to study for a test and then you fail, and then you want to jump right back in and take the test the next week. Maybe you need a little bit more time. And it's not easy to have to be told to wait. This isn't your time. But it does happen that sometimes if you wait, you'll have more time to prepare, to get ready, and then take action with a lot of good intention, with a lot of energy. You don't want to start back doing something when you're tired, when you're fatigued, when you're still all up in your feelings. So one thing that I definitely saw and even helped other students with during medical school is if you were starting to not do so well in your classes and be at risk of failing, I was a person that people came to, because that was my job, to help you find a tutor. And one thing that we often encourage people to do was take a break, focus on the other things that you need to focus on right now, whether that's your classes, this class or that class. But for this one class where you're struggling, let's give it a break. We'll give it some time. We'll come back to it later. And that's really hard for a lot of people to hear, for students to hear. But I did find that a lot of students did do well when they didn't have too many things on their plate at the same time. So again, build in that rest, recuperate, and then get back on the horse, get back in the saddle again. When you've decided to start and get back going, get help. A lot of times we need help with things. And so that can be just someone that can give you advice on what to do next. That can be someone that is actually working with you towards your goal. For students, that might be a tutor, that might be using a test prep program. If you have a fitness goal, that might be getting a personal trainer, that might be going to an exercise class, a little bit cheaper, but you still have an instructor that is showing you how to do exercise, showing you how to move, keeping you accountable, making sure that you're working out with the proper intensity. That's a great alternative to a personal trainer, which might be very expensive for some people. Some people might need a nutritionist, or again, there is YouTube University. There's a lot of information out there. Try to go to a very reputable source, people that you know are giving good information, like yours truly, and you can get some more tips and help on towards your journey, towards your goal. So that is the other thing that I will say is very important and something that a lot of people tend to forget, because when we fail, sometimes and a lot of times there is shame associated with it, and we don't want to tell people what happened, and we try to go at it again by ourselves, and that's just going to set you up for failure. But what I think is the most important thing that I can tell you now is not only to have one goal, but have a secondary goal. A secondary goal is something that you know you have a high probability of achieving. And why do I say have a secondary goal? I say that because it's important for us to feel like we've accomplished something in some sort of way. So if you have a secondary goal, could be completely unrelated to what your first goal was. So maybe your first goal is, I need to pass this class, fail this test, I need to do better. But if you have a secondary goal of, you know what, I want to learn how to draw people a little bit better, take an art class for fun during that time, because then you are working towards something. It is low pressure. You're likely to get better. It is something that you enjoy and you'll look forward to. But then when you're finished, you'll have that sense of accomplishment, no matter what the other outcome is for your bigger, maybe you can say even more important goal. But trying to build small successes in is very, very important for our confidence. It builds resilience. So I think that is probably the most important thing that I can tell you. Find something else that you love to do, that you're passionate about, or that you are just interested in that you can try to do. So, like I said, it could be taking an art class. For some people, maybe learning how to cook something a little bit better, perfecting your sour bread, like a lot of people did during the pandemic. Things got crazy, but people know how to make sourdough bread now, right? So you can do all of that while you're still working towards your bigger goals. And at various times in my life, I have found if one thing didn't work, when I had another smaller goal, wasn't a bigger goal, but I had another smaller goal to work towards, and then I was able to achieve that goal, it remarkably boosted my confidence and gave me a renewed energy and vigor to achieve that and go after that bigger goal. Remember, hard times come, sometimes failure happens, but we can all get back in the saddle again. We can all try again. Don't put yourself down for having a little bit of a hiccup. What's important is that you get back up, you try again, keep that optimism. And like always, if you want to hear more things like this, let me know. Let me know some of the things that you have struggled with. What have been some of your hiccups? What are the things that have helped you get back on track when you're failing? I would love to know, so put that down in the comments. And if you like this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I hope to see you later, friends. Take care.